Well, I figured we'd give you just a quick glimpse of what our garden looks like, which is not as beautiful as yours, but this is coming into Mom's. She has a new sitting area here with the new patio. That's the garage door. So we're on the side of the house. And she has this oleander tree and some different jasmine, Arabian jasmine here, and then more of the normal jasmine, as well as some asparagus fern and some other little elephant food things. So all of this was planted this spring and needs to get all of its feet going. Although this thing is probably doubled in size. It's a yellow bell, but it's already done its blooming. Things mostly now are trying to survive the heat. We even have a yew pine here we're trying to protect a little bit. It's already getting a little bit of a burn. And then she has a pot here of hearts and flowers and the hyacinth bean, which was in the sun and wasn't doing that great. So we moved it over here in the shade, and then it's now doing a lot better. Starting to actually climb. But she has some different things here. We have a little orange tree we're trying to protect, and then these Aurelia with purple flowers that every day have some. They're starting to go for the day, and they'll have new flowers tomorrow. This, I think, it's some kind of a red flower. I can't think of what that is. I think these do really well here. They'll get big. I mean, that was probably quite small, just one branch with flowers when she planted it. And we have some different kind of lavender. So there's this one that's more of a French lavender. I think she did some kind of a daisy. And then we transplanted a rose here in the background that did not wake up. So we'll have to see what happens to that. And the zinnias, these are obviously past their prime. But they did really well. These zinnias here, they were kind of a pinky color, but now they're all dried. And we have a lace lavender. And we have a lot of vines staked. That's a, pyracantha. There's another one there and another one a little bit further down. And those get red berries in the winter, which are really pretty. So hopefully if that was whole covered, the whole wall was covered in green and red berries, that'd be pretty wild. So we'll see if we can get it there. She has different penstemon flowers here. Some of them have been blooming and now are kind of getting dried up. So a lot of ours is kind of already done, I think. She has some of her indoor plants she pulled out here and have been out here for a while, doing fine. And then this side of the wall is going to have I guess it's English ivy, some kind of an ivy. So that'll cover this wall. And we'll just have to be careful with it, that it doesn't invade the house. That's the only bad thing about it. But it'll be pretty when it's all covered. I can't think of what these are. These are kind of a rubbery leaf. It's a bigger one there. And then she has another smaller one on this side, next to this lavender here, which is kind of bloomed out. And we have another rose we transferred from the front yard, which did pretty good. It survived. It's still green, just got deadheads I need to do. And then one we purchased and put in the ground and died, so that one didn't work. And then she has a big plant of, this is an intruder in our garden, probably eating on leaves. But this hollyhock is its first year, so it should probably bloom next year. And then we put in, can't think of bougainvillea on either side of her gate here. And this side is doing really well. And we're trying to train it up a bit, so I've been trying to weave the flowers, but pretty cool. It's not really, the leaves turn colors, and the little white things are the actual flowers, but it's kind of interesting plant. And then she has her little potting area. And then this was a heavenly bamboo that we transplanted through all the work that we had done, and it didn't quite make it. We shocked it once, and then we shocked it again, and I don't know if it's going to come back, so we'll see. But in the end, this is kind of her garden here. I think we have one hole dug in the ground over there where the mulch bags are to put another yew pine, but we just couldn't find one this year. We had another oleander tree there next to where the yew pine's covered, and then we have this strawberry tree, which we hope survives. So far it's doing okay. It has some leaf burn on it from the heat, but it's really pretty, kind of a reddish and bark, which then kind of curls off, so it's pretty interesting. So yeah, that's through there. Let me go into the backyard. We have our little pet cemetery. I think we're going to set up here. I have to get a dog statue and put our dog's ashes in it, but so far we have one of our cats there. And let's see. Oh, and I guess there will be a vine or something that goes up onto this black trellis, which might be hard to see. But yeah, so then we come through this little walkway here where we have some mock oranges, which hopefully survive. Some of them are going to get a little bit of leaf burn here as the sun hits it. They don't like that too much until they get rooted. And then here we have a wild weed plant, native plant. It gets really big white flowers on it that smell really good, and almost like lemon. We have a messy yard of planting going on. It's Jason's planting mess. But we have this big bush, which is about 14 feet across normally. Now we have pavers and a house in its way, so it doesn't, we have to kind of keep it trimmed and not to go get too out of hand. But Dad has some flowers he's been putting in. He's got a pot here, and he's trying to actually grow some seeds. Here's a yellow bell that was in Mom's yard, but this one actually has flowers on it. And I'm hoping to put a grapevine right here and climb up this trellis that we had installed just this last spring and all these pavers. But he has this little garden area here that's kind of in the shade for most of the day, I think. So he's got some things he just recently planted, so it looks a little messy, but once it fills in, that'd be pretty wild, so we'll see what happens with that. And I guess we can just walk down this way. These are all our oleanders, which we cut back this last spring. We don't do it too often. When we do, it doesn't flower as much, but it keeps it more full, which is what we're looking for. But you can see some. Well, the sun's probably in the way, but there's a bloom on that. We have some more lantana here or there that's kind of mid-bloom. It'll kick off again with a whole bunch of flowers, but it's right now in between. In the front, I'll show you, we have some that are really full. But he's got a corncob cactus or something here, and Dad's been feeding birds. And we have all of his Plumeria, which now have leaves. And some actually have flowers this year, now that they've been in the ground for a while. This one, we're surprised doesn't, but it doesn't. Here's one here. These don't, but there are a lot of leaves. But here we have one that's actually bloomed. So they get these weird bloom stalks on them. And then the flowers kind of go one off at a time or in a bunch. And this is a purpley one. You can see the pale one is kind of spent, but these other ones recently are one's opening, and some have been open. And they smell really good. see what else we can do. That's the only one in the back here. We do have quite a few Plumeria in the front yard that are blooming. We have more of these. I tried to cut the seed pods off so it would put some more flowers, but they haven't done that yet. Here we have Jason's latest project of this pine cone cactus inside of a fish, so it looks like a whole bunch of worms sticking out of its mouth. That's the idea anyway. And then here's a Plumeria he recently bought that has flowers on it. And what else? It's got little different succulent and tree things here and there that we've planted. This thing's gone nuts. All of this was quite small when he put it in the pot. Now you can't see the pot because everything got so big. He just planted this Plumeria. And then we have this orange tree in a pot, which we've transplanted one too many times, and that's probably just going to sit in a pot for now. Here's a heavenly bamboo with all of its leaves versus the one on Mom's side, which lost all of its leaves. This is our biggest one. We have kind of the patio area where we have a few things and pots. You may have seen that when you were here. That was probably planted. And this thing's kind of gone nuts with its babies. And then coming over here, we have this gigantic sticks. It's like sticks on fire, but because it's where it is, it doesn't really get stressed enough to turn red. It keeps pretty green. And then we have this. This guy is an apple cactus. When we got it, it was right there. It had broken off and had a little nub, and then that grew. And each of these is probably about a year. That's 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and 4. So it gets flowers every once in a while that are pretty big and white. And there's more hearts and flowers there. He planted this. I want to say it's like a Hercules something. We think out in the yard he planted one that was smaller and it started to take off. You can see it there behind the ants. It's gotten quite big. And it looks very similar to this, so we think it's the same thing. But we've got that. Got some things to plant. We've got a torch cactus which is about to bloom. We have some cuttings and things that he's trying to transplant. We did have this just bloom, and now they're starting to dry up. Looks kind of nasty, but I'll see if there's another one, a torch cactus that's red that's bloomed, and hopefully it's still okay. We have a what do you call it, dragon fruit plant that I planted at the base of the tree, and having it kind of grow up this Palo Verde tree and tying it up and keeping it going. And it's now to the point where it's about as high as I want it, and I'll just start cutting limbs off of it back so it sprouts more, and then eventually hopefully will provide, you can see off that side there, hopefully it'll actually put some fruit on at some point. That'll be interesting. It's more of a tropical cactus than one that would live here normally. Lots of Plumeria. We have a couple of orange. I'm trying to think if it's a common orange. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And then a Rio Red grapefruit tree there. Oh, these are kind of dried up too. Well, they're starting to kind of give out and start to close up, but they just kind of branch off, and this is actually a group of them. But they're still pretty vibrant even if they're dying. These are also torch cacti. And then there's all these turn red. You can kind of see some a little bit further down from the prior year. And yeah, we've got a tangerine that we put in. It's doing pretty good. its leaves are not happy right now, I don't think, but we've got some fruit on it. They kind of curl to protect themselves. And then we have this, which is transplanted once, twice, and now it's in its final home. We're not going to move it again. We had to move it because of the casita, but it finally put on limes. So we have limes, Mexican limes, so that I can make margaritas. That's what that's for. Then we have, I'll just go through this undeveloped side, where we have piles of dirt from other projects. And out to the front, and we have these pink oleander here. Of course, they're getting bigger and bigger every year. We have probably 100 Meyer lemons all over this thing. And then here's another Hercules plant that he actually put in the ground. It got pretty thick. And here's the showstopper of it's dealing with the heat, but these things go nuts. They've had just tons of flowers off this. This one's been planted for, I want to say it was a couple years. And this is probably its third summer is my guess. And it just went nuts finally. A lot of them just have to get situated. What else is going nuts out here? There's potted succulents and things that he has. Here's another Hercules plant that needs to get planted. It'll probably get planted over where our parking area is. In a minute I'll show you. But the front, other than that, this is the other showstopper, I guess, is we have this lantana, which once we had to cut down in front of that tree in the background there by the street and unfortunately cut through to put the sewer line. I think it cut all those roots, and the roots were getting water from way over here, because as soon as we did that, all of these plants took off, because now they could actually have access to all the water. They were okay, but they kind of limped along. Now they're huge. Much like if you see, there's a small lantana by that tree, and it never gets any bigger because it gets all the water drained from the tree taking all the water, I think. So we have another one here, Plumeria. This one got really tall and has some flowers in it. Oh, here we have this opening. So here's another sticks on fire here. And then this is not a torch cactus, but it is a cactus that's flowering. So it's supposed to be orange, but it's more of a salmon color. But I don't know if you can see it, but on that purple flower of the lantana there is a butterfly. So yeah, it's kind of the front yard. Again, not a lot of flowers. Behind me is typically where all the roses are, and they don't like this weather. They just gotta maintain. But anyway, over here where Dad parks is somewhere over here. We might put that other Hercules plant. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're back to the front. Later.